The MLB hot stove is almost too hot to handle right now. I feel like I gotta make a trip downstairs and start making these videos wearing oven mitts because, again, things are heating up and they continue to get hotter and hotter. And I fully believe that is because on Wednesday, a lockout can happen if the CBA expires and they're not able to agree upon a brand new collective bargaining agreement. There's a few rules. Maybe we'll make a full breakdown once this thing either gets agreed upon or not. I'm hoping that it does because we still have superstar free agents like Carlos Correa, Freddie Freeman, Chris Bryant. All of those guys have yet to find a new home, and I'm hoping it happens in the next few days. Hopefully not the next few hours, because that means I'll have to be home, and that will be a triple upload, and luck is usually not on my side. I mean, aside from the last 24 hours, I mean, dang, I get Spider-Man tickets, I'm home for Max Scherzer, and now before I'm able to share the Robbie Ray video and worry about Corey Seager, he signs, and I can report it to you guys ASAP. 10 years, $325 million. The agreement is set in place between Corey Seager and the Texas Rangers. The Rangers, they went full steam ahead for Cyber Monday and Black Friday. They picked up Marcus Semien, John Gray, and now their shortstop of the future. And that might be an understatement because 10 years is a long time. He's going to be 37 years old by the time that this contract is all said and done. But we're talking about Corey Seager. Yeah, he's not getting Tatis or Lindor money because they both got $340 million. And the only reason why is because Corey Seager, while he's amazing, he kind of has some baggage in terms of the health department, but if we just look at his raw stats and him as a baseball talent at shortstop, the glove, we don't have to talk about that. We know it's not the best, but offensively, I mean, he's one of the best that I've ever seen. He hit .306 this year with a bunch of extra base hits. He had a .380 on base percentage with a 145 OPS plus, and that comes a year after he won the 2020 World Series MVP, so he's gonna get it done in the playoffs as well. I'm not saying the Rangers are a World Series bound team, but I legitimately don't think that they are done. Clayton Kershaw is reportedly still interested in trying to join the Rangers if they have room for him. Maybe it's on a 1 or 2 year deal. Either way, I am very happy for Rangers fans. They used to be one of my favorite teams when Cliff Lee and Josh Hamilton were still playing, but then Josh Hamilton got weird, and yeah, either way, Corey Seager, congratulations, my man. And if you're a Dodgers fan, I don't want to say my heart goes out to you because you've been so spoiled for so long, but losing Max Scherzer and Corey Seager in the span of about, 17 seconds, that can't be fun. So Gavin Lux, if you're watching this, you're gonna have to pick it up, my man. But before we talk about Robbie Ray going to the Mariners for a lot of monies, we have to talk about an update on Marcel Ozuna, because if you guys forgot about him, he is officially able to return on opening day of the 2022 Major League Baseball season. Do we think that's gonna happen? Maybe a report surfaces that what the police said was actually a lie and that Marcel Ozuna and his wife were just in a disagreement, or maybe it comes out that he was actually more guilty. I don't have the answers right now. I'm just telling you guys that as it sits currently, Marcel Ozuna technically could be the left fielder or the DH if they agree upon that in the collective bargaining agreement for the World Series winners, the Atlanta Braves, and that could happen as soon as opening day, like I mentioned. So if you're a Braves fan, do you want him back on the team? Would you rather re-sign Ed Rosario and Jorge Soler? If I was in the management team of the Atlanta Braves, I would just cut my losses. I would either try and trade for him, see if another team would take on that contract, or I would just straight up cut bait with him because, again, the details aren't fully there, but ultimately, baseball comes secondary. We all just hope that him and his family are progressing as human beings because that's most important, and they've had issues for quite some time. But there's the little update on Marcel Ozuna. A few days after the Mariners made some noise after trading for Adam Frazier of the San Diego Padres, whether he's going to be a left fielder or a second baseman, we have no idea. The Mariners decide to do it again. They make a splash, they pull out the big guns, and they acquire the 2021 AL Cy Young Award winner Robbie Ray. I call him Robbie Reagan because he was sensational. We'll talk about why in just a moment, but Robbie is getting $115 million over the next 5 years. I could not be happier for him as well as his family because he struggled a little bit with the Diamondbacks, and a lot of people said that he was not going to be able to reach his fullest potential, but of course we saw that, not be a thing because he won the freaking Cy Young. Now, I just want to mention a side side note, the 2021 Blue Jays, I mean, they had Robbie Ray, Marcus Semien, and Steven Matz all signed for a combined $32 million a year ago, and they're making well above that, so you can kind of shout out Toronto for building up the portfolio of these three guys. They got paid. Now let's focus on 2021 and what made Mr. Robbie Ray Gun magical, and to me, two big things. He was a strikeout machine that was mostly in part because his spin rate is ridiculous. His stuff is nasty, and also his ability to leave runners on. It was the best of his career. Is there going to be some regression? That is the biggest story right now. So Angels fans, they are upset because they believe that Robbie Ray was going to be their knight in shining armor. He was going to be Shrek in Shrek 1, and he was going to rescue Fiona from the dragon. I mean, just the Angels. What? I just don't understand what happened, because they had a meeting with Robbie Ray last night, and apparently, I don't know if it went so sour to the point where Robbie was like, yeah, I'm going to go to your rival now, the freaking Mariners. And again, the biggest question is Robbie Ray going to fit in that rotation with Marco Gonzalez and Logan Gilbert? Those guys are going to be the headliners, and then you're going to have Dunn and Sheffield kind of competing for the 4th and the 5th spot. Maybe you have other guys that can compete for those spots, and you have Sheffield and Dunn going to the bullpen. I don't foresee that happening, but it definitely could because of it's not a dilemma, it's a good problem to have. Who is going to be your 4th and 5th starter? Do you go out and grab another starting pitcher? Are you set in that department and maybe you go for the bullpen, which to me, I feel like that should be their biggest priority, because the Mariners, they just got Robbie Ray. You know, they have Adam Frazier. They are kind of doing everything all at once, and we haven't even talked about J-Rod. Julio Rodriguez, the super prospect. I'm going to go ahead and show some of his highlights right now. He would be joining Jared Kelenic and possibly a healthy Kyle Lewis. You know, the guy that won the Rookie of the Year in 2020. I mean, his first 60 games were ridiculous, and we haven't even talked about Mitch Haniger or Ty France. Having them as a 1 through 5, maybe even 1 through 6 punch would be really good when you combine that with Robbie Ray and Marco and Logan Gilbert. I really like what the Mariners are doing. They are going for it. Now, of course, the ripple effect, as we've talked about a little bit throughout today's video, the Angels have officially lost out on their two biggest fish. They were going for Mad Max. They lost out on him to the Mets, and they were going for Robbie Ray kind of as their consolation prize. They lost out on both. So maybe they're trusting in Reed Detmers, who is supposed to be really good going forward, and the recent draft picks. Maybe that's the case. Or they could be saving for Marcus Stroman. Maybe he's the guy. They could go for Clayton Kershaw. They could go for scraps kind of at the bottom of the free agent pool. And it also makes me wonder, what are teams like the Phillies and the Yankees doing? They're not even in the conversations for any of these dudes. Starling Marte, I thought he was a for sure thing to go to the Phillies, and then he ends up with the Mets. Again, we could maybe blame Steven Matz, but the Yankees are not doing anything. The Phillies, even though Bryce Harper won an MVP and he is trying his best to carry this team, they're just not really giving him a bunch of support. Now, that could change as soon as, by the time that this video is over, maybe they go out and sign Corey Seager, and then they move Bryson Stott, one of their top prospects.
I can explain.
And remember, all of this is most likely happening because of the lockout that could be happening as soon as Wednesday if the CBA expires and a new one is not agreed upon. Some of the things that I've heard, a universal DH, the fact that a lottery could be in place for the draft, kind of how the NFL and NBA does it. And also, just in general, there's still a ton of talent left on the market. You have Carlos Correa, Freddie Freeman, Chris Bryant, Clayton Kershaw, like we mentioned. I feel like he has a few more elite years in the back of his pocket. Maybe not, 1.9 ERA, 2.5 FIP Clayton Kershaw, but a solid 3 to 3.5 ERA guy. Maybe he can do better than that. He's a solid clubhouse guy. He's really good at what he does, and I just still love Clayton Kershaw. So that's going to do it for today's second upload. If you missed the first one, we talked about Max Scherzer. We broke that down, as well as 6 or 7 other transactions like Byron Buxton and his contract extension. Obviously, Garcia is going to the Marlins. So just a ton of things happening right now. Thank you guys all so much for rocking with me. I hope you guys get your Spider-Man tickets. I hope you guys are ready to order your Pinstripes Max Scherzer jersey. And the only thing left I have to say is bing bong, F your life. That's probably what Matt Harvey's thinking right now, because yeah, he's no longer the Dark Knight and relevant in New York. I don't know why I brought that up. Hey Matt, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I don't know why I did that.